All right, friends, let me start by saying how incredibly proud I am of how hard you have been working on learning fractions. For some of you, fractions has been easy, and for some of you, you've had to work really hard, and I am really, really, really proud of you. So we are now on fractions lesson 6. At this point in fractions, you can now identify fractions. You can probably add fractions, and you can subtract fractions. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to compare fractions. The word compare means to look at two things and find things that are the same and things that are different. So you could also compare size, for instance, and that's what we're going to be doing. So we're going to be looking at page 32, if you'd like to flip there now, please. If you're not there or out, you can pause the video and push play again when you do get there. So today when we're looking at comparing fractions, we're comparing them in their size. And we're trying to figure out which one is bigger. So we're no longer looking at denominators being the same. So in this scenario, they happen to be, but in this one, they're not. So when you think about comparing, kind of think about if, in this case, you have their circles, like this is a piece of pie. And everyone knows you want the biggest slice of pie possible. So which slice or which piece is the biggest possible? Okay, so what you're going to do is you know how to identify a fraction. So in this one, it tells me now I'm going to color in 3 of the 4. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Remember, you need to be coloring in crown, please. So I have colored 3/4 of my fraction. Remember, the top number tells me how many are shaded. The bottom number tells me how many pieces there are altogether. I need to do the same thing for the second fraction. This tells me that there's 2 shaded in out of the 4. So I'm going to go ahead and color in 2 of the 4 pieces. Now the question at the top here asks me, circle the fraction that is larger. It wants to know which is the bigger piece. So, looking visually at my picture, I can see here that 3/4 of this one is taken out and only 2/4 is here. So I know that if I was getting to eat this pie, I would want to eat the part that's shaded, and this is a bigger piece of pie. So let's do another one together. This tells me here that I need to shade in 1 out of my 3 pieces. So I'm going to shade in 1 of the 3 pieces. This one tells me I also need to shade in one of the 2 pieces. Now this can be a little tricky because normally we want to say, oh, the 3 on the bottom is bigger, so this piece must be bigger, right? Because 3 is definitely bigger than 2. But think about that for a second. If I took this piece of pie and I had to share it between 3 different people, each slice is going to be smaller, okay? So if I took this piece of pie and I divided it between 2 people, it's going to be bigger than the 1/3. So this is a bigger piece of pie. You can see visually that I get more pie here than I do here. Let's work on another one together. Again, this tells me that I need to shade 1 out of the 3/4. Actually, we're not going to work on this one. I'm going to let you do this problem by yourself. We're going to go ahead and look at this one because it has different denominators. So this tells me I need to shade 3 of the 6 pieces in. So I'm going to shade in 3 of those 6 pieces. Okay? This problem tells me I need to shade 1 of the 3 pieces in. All right, this one, because of where Miss Lewis chose to shade, it's a little difficult to see, but this is actually more. So this piece of pie has half of the pie filled in, which is bigger than a third. So this is the larger piece of pie. All right, this is page 33. Which is going to be the exact same thing. So you're going to go ahead and you're going to fill in the pieces, and you're going to continue. You're going to do page 34. And then when you get to page 35, you're going to fill this one in, but you're going to fill it in this way. So on page 35, this one says 3/5. So I'm going to make my top bar shaded in 3 of the 5. And then my second number was 2/5. Then I'll be able to see which one's bigger. So that's page 35. Page 36 is exactly the same. And then page 37, you no longer have pictures, so you kind of have to figure out which one's bigger. Now, I will point out that this whole page, every problem has the same denominator. So that means each pie is cut into the same number of pieces. So should be the bigger number, right? 4 pieces of pie is going to be bigger than 3 pieces of pie. And then this is page 38, which is the end of lesson 6. And again, on this page, all the denominators are the same. So you're just picking which numerator is bigger. So when you're done, you need to have an adult sign your mastery list, and then you can move on to lesson 7. Thanks.